My favorite line of cymbals in the whole world is the Paiste Signature Dark Energy. Greatest line of cymbals I've ever played. Paiste, over the years, they seem to have mastered the art of making the perfect, complex cymbal. And the definition for me, for the perfect, complex cymbal, is one that is as equally bright as it is dark. They're explosive, they're expressive, they're soft when you need them to be, they're bright when you need them to be, and they just sit perfectly in every situation. So the dark energies are like that, 602 Modern Essentials are like that, and now the big beats are like that. So I finally got my hands on a set of the new 2002 black big beat cymbals. I have a full set here. Well, it's not a full set, but I have enough here that I can give you an accurate review on these. I have the 16-inch hats here. I have the 18, I have the 22, and the 19 over here. And I also have the set of 15-inch hats, which I'll let you hear later on. If you're a working session and sideman musician like I am, it's nice to have a cymbal that you can do an R&B gig with on Monday, country gig on Friday, rock session 2 weeks from Wednesday, and a theater production 3 weeks away without ever having to change anything in your bag. So I'm just going to give you my opinion on these cymbals. I was able to spend a little bit of time with them, played them lots in the short amount of time that I've had them. And if you're looking for a new line of cymbals to check out, something that's going to be nice and versatile for you, a set of cymbals you can keep in your bag and play in any situation, this is probably going to be something you're going to want to consider. Now there's an entire line of these. This is what I have in front of me now, but I've actually played every cymbal in the line right up to the 24. And there's not a whole lot that I don't like about them, for sure. So let me just give you my thoughts on these, and then you can come to your own little conclusion on whether or not you want to check these out. But in the amount of time that I spent with them, I think I can already safely recommend them, at least to try a set out. I think you'll be pretty surprised. Some of the cymbals you might have to warm up to be completely honest. But by the time you finish playing them, you'll be like, all right, I can deal with these. So the 2002 Big Beats are kind of grandfathered by the original red 2002s. It's the same alloy, as you can tell by the color. I think they like to do that with at least a lot of the recent lines that they've introduced. They like to start with a foundation that's already been around for a while, and then they'll just change a couple of things to sort of make it newer and a little bit more current. In this case, the most obvious thing you're going to see with the 2002s is the hammering. They seem to be hand hammered. As a matter of fact, these look a lot like the 602 Modern Essentials. Some of you guys have seen the video with Vinny opening up his new tour kit, the blue Gretsch kit. At the end of that video, when he's playing them, it actually took me 4 or 5 watches to notice and realize that they weren't his cymbals. I thought they were Modern Essentials on the kit, but there were a set of Big Beats on there. So they look pretty similar. The hand hammering pattern makes them look similar. These are kind of like sort of a suntan version, visually anyway. A suntan version of the Modern Essentials line. So they're gonna look really sexy under the lights, for sure. The first thing you're gonna notice when you pick one of these cymbals up, and the thing that surprised me actually, is the weight. These cymbals are fairly light in weight, and I think it's just because of the thickness of the cymbal. They're a lot thinner than I thought they would be, especially the hi-hats. These feel like just a couple of medium weight hats. The 15s feel a little bit thinner than the 16s. I tend to lean more towards the 16-inch hats. I like the 16s a lot. You might not think when you lift these up that they'll project that well, because sometimes thin hi-hats can sound a little hollow in the middle. And they just might, like depending on what you're coming from, these might sound a little bit hollow to you, but they translate really well when you're standing in front of it, and definitely when you listen back on a playback, you get a much better idea of how well they actually project. One of the things that I really like about these, and I think it was their aim when they designed these, is that the only cymbals in the line that actually have an identification are the hi-hats. The hi-hats actually say hi-hat on them. The other ones, they stamp it 2002 and they tell you how big it is, and that's it. They leave it to you to figure out how you want to use it. And I think that's pretty cool, because sometimes, especially with the larger cymbals, you put a label on it, you're kind of hesitant to using it for any other purpose other than what's stamped on there, whether it's a crash or whether it's a ride or whatever. This way, man, you just take it and you can do whatever you want with it. You want to take two 18s, make hi-hats out of them, go ahead and do it. If you want to use a 19 as a ride in a club, go ahead and do it. Like, it'll work just fine. So it just adds to the versatility of the line. I think it was a cool move for them to do. The thing that I really like another thing that I really like about these cymbals is that they're very playable. Because of the hammering pattern and design, and I think the alloy might have something to do with it as well. But they don't get away from you volume-wise. It feels really good to lean into these cymbals, especially the 24. Man, if you can try out a 24, man, you can really just lay into that, and it'll sit at a peak volume, and it won't get any louder than that. So you can really lean into that thing, man, and it'll sound really cool. You might have heard off the top when I was kind of getting into it with these crashes. You'll hear how they sit volume-wise. Very comfortable to play. As I mentioned before, I got the 16-inch hi-hats on here. When I very first tried them out at the Yamaha offices, I took to these right away. The 15s, to be 100% honest, I didn't really like when I first played them. It just didn't sound like there was enough there for me. In my personal opinion, the perfect recipe for the cleanest hi-hats is a medium top and an extra heavy bottom. And that's the main reason why I went with 15-inch Dark Energies, because the Dark Energy hi-hats have that extra heavy bottom. So you get really nice, if you're one of those dudes like me that like to dance on your hi-hats a little bit, the chick is awesome on those hats. So that's my, favorite recipe for hi-hats, is just that, having that extra heavy bottom. But that being said, these 16s sound really nice, especially the open hat. And having that extra inch or extra 2 inches, depending on what hat you're playing now, you don't really notice the extra real estate there, but it's really nice to play. If you've never played 16-inch hats before, you're probably going to dig these. So anyways, I'll play the 15s for you and let you hear those. Again, it took me a little bit to warm up to them, but after playing them, spend a little bit of time with them, I still kind of dig them, but I still prefer the 16s. So here's the 15s. That's what they sound like. As I said off the top, I played all of the cymbals in the line, and my two favorite ones, and I think your two favorite ones, if you ever get a chance to try all of them, are going to be the 19 and the 21. The 21-inch, man, holy, gorgeous, gorgeous cymbal. It's great as a crash. It's got some great stick definition. This is the 22 here. It's the same with this, but there was something about the 21 that just stood out for me, and the same with the 19. If I didn't already have a set, I would probably start with those two for sure. So yeah, man, I don't know if I left anything out. If you got any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Try these out. You're gonna dig them.